Hi, Math here. Now that more than a month has passed since the release of Yakuza Kiwami 3, I've come to fully accept the plot twist ending that retconned the story. I mean, look, if Kashiwagi can survive a direct attack from a helicopter, and Lau Long can walk after taking a bullet in the head, then Mina surviving terminal velocity is believable. The only unrealistic thing in the Yakuza series right now is how there are still tenants in the Millennium Tower. That retcons really weakens an otherwise strong story. Hence why people are still disappointed about the plot twist ending of Yakuza Kiwami 3, where the fan favorite Mine survived his so-called heroic sacrifice, which in turn cheapens the whole character arc of this dastardly yet gorgeous villain. What I find terrible about this is how it undermines the original ending of Yakuza 3, wherein Mina's demise is not just a villain's defeat as it is the final logical step in his arc. Mine is such an interesting character because he is cynical to a fault, that he finds a generous kind act as a threat disguised in gold and honey. He is a reclusive character who saw others as mere tools to achieve what he desires. But when he finally met Daidoji, this philosophy he held close to his heart made a Daigo-sized room. Thus, his fatal fall is perfectly framed as a final act of atonement and a twisted form of loyalty. This tragic end provides a powerful sense of closure that fits his character's journey. But Yakuza Kiwami 3 decided to throw that all away because they want a Daidoji spin-off game starring Mine. So why is RGG Studio so obsessed in this shadowy organization? And what even will their endgame plan be, knowing that this Death Retcon has drastically changed the plot of the whole series? Well, it's pretty simple. Yakuza games absolutely want more of Mine, and here's why. But before that though, if you want to smack Kanda, then like this video and join Otaku the Point for more Like a Dragon content. So why does Yakuza games want more of Mine in their story, knowing that their series is full of characters that many can say are far more interesting? We have Ichiban Kasuga that dragged not only Tokyo but Hawaii as well to go LARP in his Dragon Quest adventure. Kiryu Kazuma, who stands up stronger than ever, no matter how hard life punches him in the face. And of course, we cannot forget about the #1 voted character in the series, Goro Majima, who despite being a senior citizen, can just wrestle a giant squid. Well, that's actually one of the main reasons why RGG Studio wants more of Mine, since he is such a different character compared to our beloved yet goofy heroes. Mine brings back a sort of realism to the franchise that has been breaking apart since the rubber bullets. And I know, this is coming from a guy who comically survived a 100-foot drop with a tiny bush. But Mine is really the type of character you will see in a story about the underground world of Japan. This is also why for the longest time we actually get to play a Yakuza character in a Yakuza game. Mine is the edge and realism that RGG Studio needs to get the plot back from where it started. That speaks on how this great area of the Yakuza world is an evil necessity, much like Mine. However, it's a true statement that the wacky scenes are what attracted the limelight to these games. RGG knew they had to stand their ground and not let those be the only defining things about their games. The Judgment series is a good example of this, that despite having goofy moments, its more serious story is what made those two titles stand out from the rest of Yakuza games, as their theme and narrative rings true to the cruelty of society as well as how punishing and unfair the current justice system is. And that's exactly what RGG Studio wants the Yakuza series to return into. They know that games with amazing stories are lauded in the community and achieve accolades that they have been reaching for. Because right now, Yakuza has the popularity for the groupie antics, but its serious moments are rarely discussed among the community. Thus, Mine, being a more grounded and serious character that has a cynical disposition, is ripe to be written in a compelling story as compared to other heroes. Even Yokoyama-san admitted that he and his writing team regretted letting Mine die in Yakuza 3, as there are a lot of stories that they still want to write about this character. We can see this expressed in the Dark Tide sub-stories, where it is littered with Mine's inner thoughts about society. Mine also come off as a more grounded character that people can relate to, especially when it comes to darker emotions, which is something we rarely see in Yakuza characters who are known for their hard-boiled principles. Mine is truly set apart from other Yakuza characters, and him starring his own game will breathe a new life to a two-decade series that is still searching for a younger star. And don't worry if you think that Mine wouldn't be suitable to lead a Yakuza game on his own because Kiryu defeated him. Mine is far stronger than we think. This otherworldly strength also fits Mine's resume of the Kirin, a mythical hooded chimerical creature from East Asian folklore. This choice is deeply tied to his character arc and his unique relationship with Daidoji, reflecting both his self-image and his role to play in the story. The Kirin is also an omen of wisdom and justice, so to appear only in the presence of a pure benevolent ruler, where in Mina's eyes this leader is Daigo Dojima, who showed him unconditional respect. The Kirin is known to be a gentle pacifist as well, that becomes aggressive if a virtuous person is threatened by a malicious one. This mirrors Mina's fanatical devotion to Daigo, believing his actions, including his villainous ones, were ultimately justified to protect his chairman against the hypocrite Kiryu Kazuma. Lastly, Mina's Kirin also serves as a Japanese pun, where Kirinji can be translated to child prodigy, which perfectly reflects Mine as a self-made man from poverty. Mina's Kirin and Kiryu's dragon are actually two sides of the same coin, as not only these mythical beasts are represented in the Eastern Four Spirits, Kirins were also believed to be descendants of dragons, hence why they also share a lot of physical similarities. It is very thematic for Mine to begrudgingly carry Kiryu's will after his defeat, as he now swears to protect his king behind the shadows of the Daidoji faction. And that is another thing why Yakuza games want more of Mine, as they can use him to expand the world building of the series. We all know the dwindling force of the Yakuza in Japan, given the new laws against it. RGG knows that they cannot depend their whole series in this one underground organization if they want to see their franchise celebrate another decade. So they believe that political organizations like the Daidoji faction and other criminal syndicates like Infinite World's Barracuda can bring fresher ideas to the supposed serious crime drama game. Mine is the right character to lead the story outside the Yakuza world, as his personality can bounce up better to characters like Raymond Law and Dwight Mendez, as instead of giving a lofty ideal speech, his demented yet calculated way of thinking will show a far more realistic approach in dealing with the underground world, especially since Infinite Wealth had its dark and gory moments that RGG Studio couldn't explore better but will be able to do so with Mine, and hence why Yakuza games want more of Mine, as he will be the perfect start to a series of spin-off Yakuza games. The success of Pirate Yakuza is proof that we will see more Yakuza characters star in their own spin-off games. RGG learned that fans are willing to buy side games that doesn't star Kiryu and with a story that is loosely canon, and Mine is in the prime position to be the next character to be featured in this Like a Dragon Gaiden games. For one, RGG Studio has a dying need for a younger lead. The problem of Pirate Yakuza is that the lead star Majima is basically a senior citizen. Ichiban isn't starring a spin-off game soon since RGG wants their new golden boy to lead the mothership titles. Meanwhile, Saejima's story has been told in completion. Not to mention, Saejima has been the center of Yakuza's weakest moments, such as the rubber bullets that still get fun of, and rightfully so, the dragging plot of Yakuza 5, and the awful exploration of Tsukimino. Then of course we have Akiyama, but his VA is too busy with other projects. Did you know he voices Donald Duck? This leaves Mine that has a lot of stories left to tell, and young enough or hot enough to attract newer players to the series. Mine can also star in games that doesn't necessarily need a total understanding of the Yakuza world, which is why they decided to involve the Daidoji faction, as they want to separate Mine's journey with the ongoing Yakuza legacy. Thus, we will see more of Mine, as Yakuza games clearly want more of him. But how about you guys? Do you want to play a Like a Dragon game that stars Mine? Or does RGG Studio have to do something entirely new to shake the franchise? Well, luckily, it seems Stranger Than Heaven is on the right track to do that, as this will be RGG Studio's biggest game yet. If you're curious about that, then check this video out. Join Otaku Define for more Like a Dragon content. This is Math, and stay awesome, my guys.